What is your full name?
Joseph Shadowski,
Where are you from?
Huntington Woods, Michigan.
How old were you in 2009?
I was 40, 47 or 46?
What do you
46.
46? Okay. What do you recall about your financial life before the Great Recession?
I invested in diversified mutual funds, some stock, and real estate.
Do you recall any governmental actions in the economy?
In 2009, yes, the government provided assistance to General Motors and Chrysler Corporation.
Were you overly worried about the health of the economy?
Yes, it was a difficult time.
Why or why not?
Well, I own a business and banks were calling back loans that they had. And if you didn't have the money to pay back the loan right then, they could demand it and they would cut your access off to capital.
What were your first feelings or emotions after learning about the severe economic situation?
That there was a lot of mistruths about lending to people that didn't have the capacity to repay their loans, and there was a lot of people taking advantage of the system on Wall Street.
What financial hardships did you experience during this economic crisis? Loss of savings, reduction in work?
We lost a significant amount of our savings. The value of our real estate holdings dropped considerably, and the revenue in our business dropped more than 30%.
What economic decisions did you and your family make in response to this severe economic situation?
Well, we conserved our cash. We ate more meals in and went out less to restaurants. We didn't really travel as much. We had to cut back on unnecessary spending, and we had to reduce some of our employees' work hours.
Was the public school system near you ever in danger?
No, the Berkeley public school system is financially strong.
What were the 3 economic crises in Michigan?
Well, we had the banking crisis where there were loans that were going bad, they weren't getting repaid. There was a housing crisis where people could not afford to repay the mortgage that they had on the house, and they would leave their house and default on the loan and give the property back to the bank. And then we had the automotive crisis where the automotive production fell by almost half.
What did you think of Obama's response to the Great Recession?
It was necessary that the government was there to back loans to General Motors, to Chrysler, to Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac for mortgages, and to certain banks, so they wouldn't allow certain banks to go bankrupt. However, there was no consequences for any of the bankers that repackaged loans and gave them a grade A stamp when they were really a risky investment.
How do you feel about the financial bailout given to the automotive industry?
I feel that Ford should be most respected of the big three because they use their own assets and leverage them without getting any assistance from the federal government. And GM and Chrysler both received loans and bailouts from the federal government, and the shareholders of GM lost all their money. And GM really didn't make as many cuts as they probably should have over the years. They were slow to react. That's why I don't buy GM vehicles anymore.
Lastly, do you think that recessions and depressions can be prevented?
No. A recession is known as 2 quarters of negative growth, and it's a typical cycle in the typical economic cycle that happens about every 5 to 7 years, and it's normal throughout the course of history. Because otherwise you could have a big series of inflation if you didn't have a correction. So corrections are good and healthy for the economy. It helps to keep the economy from overheating and causing too much inflation. So we'll probably be seeing another recession in the next year or two.
Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.